Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition for Nintendo Switch 2. This is primarily just going to focus on how the game runs and things like that, rather than the game itself. I'll probably do a video of that on a later date. But this was a very interesting game that got announced for Switch 2 that I was I wanted to play. I've put about 10 hours into it to see how the game would run, how it plays, get past the sort of beginning area and whatnot. Now, before we jump into me moving around the city and showing things off like that, what I do want to show and what I do want to give the guys credit for is the settings menu. Now, usually this is the sort of stuff that I expect to see on like a PC, not so much on a console of any kind or even like on a handheld. But like you can see already, like dynamic ranges, TV speakers, headphones, all that different things you can have here. Boost low, boost high, 3D headphones. I got it set to TV speakers currently. You've then got all the individual sliders you could possibly want for your different audio. This is great to see. More games, if a game's only ever got like 2 sliders for music and sound effects, that's like about the basic. But if it's just like 1 slider, it's never good. You'd always want the music to be on a different slider to the sound effects. And then we've got some miscellaneous stuff like mute detection sounds, disable copyright music if you're streaming, things like that. We go along to controls. There is a ton of control schemes in this game. We've got the handheld, we've got Pro Controller, dual grip and mouse sensor. You can see I'm currently using the Pro Controller, it recognizes that. It shows you your gyroscope controls, your motion patterns, which are mainly for the dual grip mode, which we'll get to in a minute. All the things you could want here, your camera, your gyro sensitivity, all that good stuff. We've got your first person camera, how will that affects when you're using the Pro Controller, the vehicle stuff as well. And you can customize this to exactly however you want it. Look how many, like, camera auto reset time, first person, camera angle, all this different stuff, right? Tons and tons and tons. Also, you've got your control scheme and replay tutorial over here for hit minus. This is your standard control scheme. This shows you what it will be like in handheld mode. So that's general. We got vehicle, we have vehicle combat, we have the mouse sensor, so it shows you how the mouse stuff works. Though I will say I haven't actually tested the mouse stuff. I have tested gyro controls and things like that. I've mainly been playing with a Pro Controller with this one. And then you've also got, like I said, you've got your dual grip here. It shows you the settings for that. You've got your mouse sensitivity settings here as well, which is phenomenal. And then also handheld settings, stuff like that. So already, this game has comprehensive control schemes and you can tweak it to your heart's content. Then we come to gameplay. You've got your difficulty. I've just got it set to normal. We've got tutorials. We've got how do you want to skip dialogue, cross-platform saves. This is really cool. If I wanted to play this on PC and switch between that and my Switch, they're on. That you can do it. I love stuff like this. Cross-platform saves is one of the coolest things I think ever, because it just means that if you do want to play with other people in certain games, you can. If with Cyberpunk, you can carry on a more powerful computer or on a different console, and you might just take it with you on the go. You've got photo modes. You've got all this stuff like that affects gameplay that you can turn on and off, which is great. Graphics is actually, it's always cool to see graphics options not just have gamma in them. But we've got film grain. I've turned that off. We've got chromatic aberration. I've turned that off as well. Depth of field and lens flare I've left on, and then motion blur I never play with. I don't like motion blur. But again, you can see. Then we've got video. I currently can't do HDR because there's not an output for it. Handheld mode, you can stick in performance or you can stick into quality. In the TV mode, I only have a 2K TV with no, not a higher frame rate, so I can only play in quality mode. But I will say I do appreciate the fact that these guys have got a 40 FPS mode for handheld with the 120 screen, which makes it run a bit better. But like, this video is coming at you specifically me testing out the game running on Switch 2 on a TV. I have not played it in docked. I'll maybe come back and do a video on that. And I've primarily played with the Pro Controller. There is a lot to test with these games, and I wanted to basically look at the game overall running in what I would consider my preference to play it, which is a console experience. We've also got interface here, which is just you can turn everything on and off. How much HUD do you want, basically, which is great. Level that, even speedometer, imperial metric. And then lastly, accessibility. Now, this is always a big sticking point for me because I am colorblind. So the fact that we have colorblind mode, and I believe if you oops, if you go here and hit ZR, you can already see the color change on the screen, which is lovely. How it should be. And you can turn on all this stuff. I've turned on larger fonts in this game. I found just on the TV I was playing they're a bit small. But you can have larger HUD elements, remove the lens distortion, visual effects, make it as clean as possible. And then we have like your cinematic stuff here. You have radio subtitles, you have text size in those. Specifically, you can see the numbers for the text size, which is cool. And then difficulty. Now, I have put aim assist on standard. It does start off on light. I'm just finding this, because it is a console game, it's just a little bit easier to have it auto aim just a bit more for me, but I'm primarily using a shotgun. So, snap the target on, which is fantastic. And then you've got assistance in melee and vehicular combat here. And then a bunch of things like weapon sway, you can turn on and off, hacking, minigame time limit, which you can turn off, which is cool. Like, that's fun. That makes it easier for some people. And then controller vibration, haptic feedback, all this sort of stuff. I will say the haptics in this game are pretty damn good. So already, before I even got into the game and I looked in the settings, I was like, okay, these guys are taking this very seriously. This is in-house CD Projekt Red, and they've done a phenomenal job here. There might be some options and things missing, but it's hard to say that when everything else is so damn good, and you can customize so much. So let's go back to the actual game. How does the game play? So the game is running at 30 frames a second, right? That's very obvious. But the thing that makes this game feel smooth is that the frame timing between your, like, running around and things feels, it's not like loads of hiccups and jumps. Like, don't get me wrong, most people, I think there's a lot of people that can tell the difference between 60 and 30 frames. But honestly, I can't get over how buttery smooth this game feels, for the most part, because it's not completely consistent. But just me running around the city, there is less population in this game compared to other versions, because it's Switch 2, probably can't handle it. But like, you can see, like, I don't have a thing on screen to be able to tell like frame times and stuff, but the game's not like lagging, it's not stuttery, it's you know, I'm able to run around with no issue. And what I really need to do is go start a firefight so you can see that as well. But that, you know, ooh, I didn't know you could get hurt by barbed wire. But yeah, I feel like actually playing this is a fairly good experience. Now, driving. Driving is a whole different kettle of fish, and I will show you this now. The game already handles crap. It already handled crap back in the day with driving, but you are going to notice straight away that when I start driving that the game is going to get very blurry. Out my way. So we try and get up the speeds. Maybe I need a faster car, but like, what I've found is that as soon as you start driving, and maybe I need to get up on a highway or something, it does tend to get a bit blurry. In some of the other areas, it will get a bit more... Oh yeah, fantastic driving there. Good job, good job. In some of the other areas that are a bit busier, it does just kind of drop frames and things like that. But I don't spend a lot of time driving anyway, and... No, don't ring me up. But yeah, so... Most of it is pretty good. Like, it's fun to drive around in this game, but you can probably see it now. Just some of the textures, some of like, you can kind of see the frames are maybe a little bit stuttery. It might be hard to tell on your end. YouTube might compress it, but all I will say is that when driving, I have definitely noticed that the game starts to just a little bit, just start to fool around a little bit at the edge, and but ultimately. It's not that bad, and if you're like me, I tend to just fast travel and also just walk everywhere. So that's the driving part of it. Let's get out of the car. What I need to do is find an area where I can go and shoot something. Where are we? I'm down here. Center me. Ah, there's an MPD thing. Let's go here and show off some combat so you guys can see that as well. So I have a mixture of guns. This is my shotgun that I tend to use. I've also got my bare fists, a pistol, and something else, machine gun. But we're gonna run in with this because why wouldn't we? Grenade! And even this isn't too bad, right? Like, the game will stutter in higher firefights and things, but I found mostly that it's not been too bad. You dead? I think I might have killed the person I was meant to save. Whoops. But you can see that it's alright. Who are you? Is that a police officer? He's time to leave. Yeah, you can see that the game isn't that bad in terms of fighting and combat. Again, it's all at 30 frames. You can see that the game isn't running like the highest thing. Highest frame rate, sorry. But I'm honestly very... Oh, these bikes come from. I'm very impressed by the fact that that's a bit hard on the eyes, isn't it? That the game runs as well as it does. Like, it's shocking how well it runs, and that's testament to CD Projekt Red doing a job, like a really good job on the game. All right, yeah, there is less cars, there's less people, but I see that as a benefit, so you don't get run over as much. Don't shoot the wrong people. I think people that have never played Cyberpunk before and don't have another way to play it, this is genuinely quite acceptable. I can't speak for the DLC. I hear that the DLC is a little bit more taxing on the machine. I'm just trying to play through the game from the beginning. And so, after 10 hours, what I've discovered is that on foot, the game runs fairly smoothly at a high frame rate. At a solid 30 frames, right? Driving around will vary. In like certain areas, it can be a little bit choppy, can look a little worse, but sometimes it can also be absolutely fine. But the cars control like crap in this game anyway, so just be careful when driving. And then as for the gunfights, I've only had a couple of instances with fighting where it's actually been like maybe caused a few frame drops. Especially you'll see when I shoot someone and they die and like their head explodes or something. That's usually like a tiny stutter or something like that. But for the most part, this is an impressive port. I think if you're looking for a complete package of a game, then this is a good place to potentially play it. If you do have other ways to play it, then, you know, there's also that too. And the fact that cross saves exist means that you can play this on the go and go back and play on your PC or your other console that way as well. So there's a ton of, you know, there's a lot of places to play this game. And the Switch 2 version isn't a bad place to do it. Like, it's definitely something that has impressed me. I think it's impressed a lot of people. You've got to be into the aesthetic. You've got to be into the RPG elements themselves. But overall, I do think this is a game that is well put together. And I'm thoroughly impressed. And hopefully this video shows you guys that they obviously care enough because of the insane amount of options that you don't normally see on a console game. As well as the fact that the game is running smoothly at 30 frames. The frame timing, the frame pacing, like it might not be perfect to the like natural eye, but genuinely playing this game, and like if I just show the map just to so you guys have an idea of what I've been doing. Like I've been primarily in this area. There was a ton of things to do in this area. I've done loads of them. Like I've just been going around doing loads and loads and loads of stuff like that. I haven't really explored beyond that for the most part. And it's just been a fun experience. There's nothing major going on with this version of the game that goes, hey, don't buy this. I think if you don't have, you know, access to another console or anything like that, and you want the complete full everything together in it, this is definitely worth doing. And plus bonus points to the devs, they put the entire game on the game cartridge, which is what I'm playing from. So, yeah, there are my thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition for Switch 2. I think it's actually really good. It may not hold up to the PC version and some of the higher frame rates, but for what it is, it does a really good job, and you get to play it on the go, and it does take effect of that 120Hz screen with a performance mode that plays at 40 FPS and stuff. So, if this all sounds good to you, then this is the kind of game that you're interested in, then I give this a recommendation. There's nothing here as of yet. Now, bear in mind, this is only based on 10 hours, but I've not run into anything that is game-breakingly, like, just awful. The few times it has dropped frames hasn't been that often, and it's basically cleared up pretty quickly. So take that as you will, and see if this is something that you may indeed actually want to play or check out, or just for the idea of playing like this on a handheld, or the fact if you've never played it before. So anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. I hope this video is useful to somebody or anybody you think about picking up the game. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content on Switch 2 stuff, then hit the subscribe button, and that stuff will be coming down the line for you. But until next video, I will see you then.